a game, but it's not fair. I break the rules, so I don't care. Feel it coming in the air, hear the screams from everywhere. I'm addicted to the thrill. It's a dangerous love affair. Can't be scared when it goes down. Got a problem? Tell me now. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation. Pledge your allegiance. Get your fatigues on. All black, everything. Black cars, all black, everything. And ain't nobody fresher. I'm in. Marcello on the table screening on the other side. They jealous, we got a banquet full of food. They got a table full of fellas.
Feel it coming in the air, hear the screams from everywhere. I'm addicted to the thrill. It's a dangerous love affair. Victories within the mile. Almost there, don't give up now. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight. Who's gonna run this town tonight?
Wow.
Can they catch him? Again.
Yeah.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Let me begin by recognizing our Mayor Raz Baraka for his vision and his articulated commitment to small business. I know we're joined today by others in the administration. We have Council President Mildred Crump, others from the Mayor's office like Ty Cooper. Please give the Mayor and his entire team a round of applause. To Otis Raleigh, I don't know if Otis is still around, who facilitated a great panel just a moment ago, and his colleagues from the Newark Community Economic Development Corporation. And last but not least, for our sponsor of this event, who has been very gracious in arranging for us to be at NJPAC and supporting today's events on behalf of the Mayor. A round of applause for Prudential for their support of today's Newark Small Business Summit. I would be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge my colleagues from BCT Partners. If you're from BCT, just wave your hand, because they're running around right now helping to make things happen. They've been great. The folks from FemWorks and Kimberly Williams, where's Kimberly? Is she around? They've done an outstanding job today. And I want to encourage you, as Lawrence has done so, to continue tweeting and posting and Instagramming with the hashtag Newark Open for Business. You can also find this summit at NWKSBS. For Newark Small Business Summit. And let's also give a round of applause to our MC, Lawrence Hibbert, my business partner and friend. He's done a great job, though, so far. Now he's getting some food in his stomach. I'm not mad at you. So let me begin by saying this. I'm a proud, and I say this, let me dial it back. I won the Apprentice in 2005, 10 years ago, if you can believe that. But I came to Newark in 2004. And while some might have said, oh, you win and won a reality show and you've had a chance to be on television and do the things that you've done, I got news for you. I had every intention when I won the show and have maintained that commitment to come right back to run my Newark-owned business in Newark, New Jersey to help create jobs for people from Newark. And I can say from firsthand experience, having been a Newark business owner for more than a decade now, and you got to hear me, yeah, wow. You got to hear me now, is that being a small business owner, being a Newark business owner is one of the hardest jobs on the planet. One of the hardest jobs on the planet. Kimberly knows what I'm talking about. She's shaking her head while she's eating. And we're not here today looking for handouts, looking for quotas, looking to be given anything. We are here for what the Mayor came here for today, which is that Newark businesses deserve their fair share of the economic pie in Newark and beyond Newark. That's why we're here today. That's why we're here today. Now, I started out with the title, Everything You Wanted to Know About Business in Newark, but Were Afraid to Ask. But then I resigned to the fact that there is a wealth of experience in this room. I mean, it's not just business owners, but assistance providers, government officials, long-standing entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs. There's a wealth of experience in this room. So I changed my title to the following: everything you already know about business in Newark, but were afraid to tell. He's laughing. And my subtitle, it's kind of long, bear with me. My subtitle, looking within, looking around, and looking back for Newark to move forward. Everything you already know about business in Newark, but were afraid to tell. Looking back, looking within, looking around, and looking back so that Newark can move forward. I mentioned a moment ago that being a business owner is one of the hardest jobs on the planet. Can I get any witnesses in here this afternoon? Can I get any witnesses? Okay. And while it is one of the most challenging jobs on the planet, it is also, I'm sure you would agree, one of the most rewarding jobs on the planet. When you realize that you're creating jobs in Newark, creating opportunity for others where it might not be opportunity in Newark, opening doors, leveling the playing field for Newark. But to the extent that if you've been in business long enough, then you know what I know, but you were afraid to tell, that cash is not king when it comes to business. Cash is ace, king, queen, jack. It is the entire deck of cards. Does anybody here who owns a business remember the first dollar they collected for their business? Anybody remember? Anybody remember the first check they received for their business? Anybody remember the first check that cleared for their business? Anybody remember the first check that bounced on their business? Or does anybody remember the first check you bounced on your business? I do. And does anybody remember having an accounts receivable for an account you still have yet to receive? You know what I'm talking about. Perhaps you can relate to the acronym that was written on the whiteboard when I took my first course in entrepreneurship. The instructor wrote two acronyms on the whiteboard. The first acronym, I wrote this down, was EENASWASI, and asked the class, does anyone know what that stands for? And the only two people who raised their hands were people who had been in business already. It stood for every entrepreneur needs a spouse with a steady income. Somebody said amen. The second acronym that the instructor wrote on the board was CFIMITYM, and the same two people knew what it stood for. It stood for cash flow is more important than your mama. I'm going to tell you right now, cash flow is not more important than my mama, but it is a very close second to my mama. But if you've been in business long enough, you know all these things, but you were perhaps afraid to tell. And if you've been in business in Newark long enough, then you perhaps know what I know, but you were afraid to tell, that you know that for this great city of Newark, that our leakage defined as goods and services bought by Newark residents outside of the city of Newark, that the leakage for Newark is over $500 million. $573 million to be exact. You know the number of Newark-based businesses on the Inc. magazine 500 fastest growing companies is 0. The number of Newark-based businesses on the Black Enterprise 100 is 0. The number of Newark-based firms on the Hispanic business list of the 100 largest Hispanic-owned firms is 0. You know that in Essex County, a county that is 41% African American, 15% Latino, that in 2009, the county awarded 4% of their dollars to minority business. And that is for no fault of the county's efforts, because Deb Collins and her team have done an outstanding job of getting that number up from where it was when they did their disparity study when she took office with DiVincenzo. So give them a round of applause for the county for what they've done. I see Deborah right there. She's working hard to get those numbers up. You know that last month, if you saw it in the headlines, that the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Council ranked all 50 states on their friendliness to small business, and New Jersey ranked 49th. That is only exacerbated by the fact that here in New Jersey, state agencies spend less than 2% of their dollars with minority-owned and women-owned business enterprises. Less than 2% with minorities and women-owned firms in this state of New Jersey. Houston, we have a problem. Or stated more accurately, Newark, we have a problem. And if you've been in business long enough in Newark, you know what I know, but you were afraid to tell. Which brings me to where we find ourselves today at this Newark Small Business Summit. And the signs of a brighter future for this city, the signs of a brighter future. The stage is set, my ladies and my gentlemen, for Newark to be open for business. We have a newly elected mayor, Ras Baraka, who has made this morning clear his commitment to small business, and they're not just talking the talk, they are walking the walk. The stage is set for Newark to move forward. We've witnessed the relaunch of the Brick City Development Corporation, now the Newark Community Economic Development Corporation, under the leadership of Otis Raleigh, who has articulated a vision of making all of Newark prosperous moving forward. The stage is set for Newark to move forward. I sit on the board of the New Jersey Public Policy Research Institute, which has been studying this issue of small business development for the past 5 years, released a report looking at minority and women firms, a comprehensive recommendation for a small business agenda in Newark. The stage is set for Newark to move forward. As you know from your registration packets, the Initiative for a Competitive Inner City, funded by Prudential, released their own report, creating an anchored local economy in Newark, highlighting the enormous potential that could be tapped if Newark anchor institutions like government, corporations, hospitals, universities just earmarked 10% more of their procurement dollars. It would result in $33 million flowing into the city of Newark. The stage is set for Newark to move forward. As you look around this room, we see a robust ecosystem, as we've heard over and over again, of business assistance providers who've lined these halls and who've lined these walls throughout the day, more than 21 of them in attendance today. And most importantly, we have Newark's greatest asset. We have Newark's greatest asset, which is each and every one of you. You as the entrepreneur, you as the solopreneur, you as the business owner, you as the individuals who have been in this city, stayed in this city, been committed to this city, and have loved this city, and are now looking to prosper with this city. If you are here today at this Newark Small Business Summit, I say to you, based on 10 years of experience, that your game is tight, that you have worked day and night. You have seldom been wrong, you've almost always been right, which makes you to Newark like a bright ray of light, or perhaps a rising star about to take flight. In fact, I'm here to say that you are simply out of sight. Why? Because you've proven over and over and over again that you can overcome any plight. To obstacles and barriers, you break through with tremendous might, and to sore eyes, seeking employment and opportunity, you are a very welcome sight, which is why you keep rising and rising, just like this city, like the wind beneath a kite. So I say to you, what a guy named JJ said on a show called Good Times, you are dynamite. Dynamite. The stage is set. And inasmuch as the stage is set for Newark to move forward, let's be clear that this moment that we find ourselves in is both a challenge and an opportunity. The opportunity, of course, is that of a more prosperous Newark, an environment more receptive and fostering of the growth of small business. The opportunity to create jobs and to create wealth in Newark. But the challenge for us as business owners is that we are often so busy, and we often have so much on our plates, and we are often so inundated with the day-to-day operations of our companies that it is difficult, very difficult, to focus what is already scarce time, scarce resources, scarce energy on those matters that are important but not urgent. I see head shaking. Real covey right there. That it requires tremendous discipline to focus what is already very limited resources on those matters that are important to your company and to the city, and not those things that are urgent, that are deadline driven, that need immediate attention, that must be attended to now. It's difficult. I experience it every day. We experience it at BCT. But if you're a business owner, an example of what is important but not urgent is updating your company business plan, or perhaps writing your company business plan. An example of what is important but not urgent is developing new relationships, connecting dots, developing partnerships. None of that requires immediate attention. It's not deadline driven. It must not happen now. An example of what is important but not urgent is participating in this Newark Small Business Summit and lending yourself to the effort to make Newark a stronger city. When you think about all those things that are important but not urgent, I want you entrepreneurs to think about all those things that represent investments in your company, investments in you, investments in your team, investments in your capacity to do more tomorrow than you can do today. Those things are important but are never urgent. If you've read Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he followed it with a book called First Things First, where in the book he argues that typical organizations spend about 15% of their time on matters that are important but not urgent. Typical government, typical corporation, typical small business, typical person, 15% on matters that are important but not urgent. But high-performing organizations, high-performing companies, high-performing governments spend approximately 65 to 80% of their time on matters that are important but not urgent. So if I were to speak metaphorically, if I were to say metaphorically speaking that looking ahead is exactly what Newark needs to do, what I'm here to say to my fellow business owners, fellow Newarkers, fellow colleagues, is that every now and then, to do a better job of your company moving forward and Newark moving forward, you have to take a moment to pause for the cause and look within, look around, and then look back to do a better job of looking ahead. I'm going to say it again. Pause for the cause, to look within, to look around, and to look back so you can do a better job of looking forward. What I'm talking about here is, again, those matters that are important but not urgent. See, as business owners, we know that the early bird catches the worm. But as entrepreneurs, we also know that the earliest bird can catch all the worms and sell them to the other birds at a profit. Or, if we really think about it, that same bird could take the proceeds from that sale of worms, create an exchange online for birds and worms, transact online, take a cut of every transaction, and make so much money that that bird will never have to get up early again. You got that. That means that for us to move forward in our companies and for our city, it's not just about working harder. It's also about working smarter. It's not just about more effort, but also more strategic action that's needed for us to move forward. Let me take these perspectives in order. Talk about what it means to look within, to look around, and look back, that we can do a better job of moving forward. Looking within. Looking within means that for Newark to move forward, we need your companies to be strong. We cannot have a strong Newark without having strong businesses in Newark. And so I'm challenging you as a fellow entrepreneur to say, how can we make our company stronger? I know we have some folks here that are perhaps new or looking to get into the entrepreneurship game. What does it mean to look within? First, of course, it means being introspective about your strengths, your limitations, about your passions, about the things you do well. But I'm here to say this, under the spirit of how we work together, that the story of entrepreneurial success is not the individual, it is the team. And to that point, you must know the people that you work with on your team. If you have that team, you must know them as well, if not better, than you know yourself. Has anyone here read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins? Okay, so if you've read Good to Great, which is you could almost call it an academic study, comparing good companies to great companies. Not good to bad, but good to great. The great defined as those who outperform the good year after year after year. Collins in the book talks about the concept of the level 4 leader and the level 5 leader. Level 4 of the good company, level 5 of the great company. The level 4 leader thinks the following: what and then who? What should our company be doing, and who should be on our team to help us do it. What and then who? Now, I don't know about you, but that makes sense to me. What should our company be doing? Got it. And who should be on our team to help us do it? Got it. But Collins says, no, that's how the good entrepreneur thinks. The great entrepreneur thinks who first and then what? Who should be on my team? Who should be on my bus? Who should be in my inner circle? Who should be a part of my partnership? And only then, once the who is defined, then decide the what. Now that's some revolutionary stuff right there. Let me give you an example real quick. And you're going to think I'm crazy, but trust me, I'm going somewhere. How many of you, by a show of hands, have ever heard of Oprah Winfrey? No, please raise your hand. Please, I have to have you raise your hand. It's an exercise. Thank you. Well, you're in my classroom right now. All right, now by comparison, how many of you have ever heard of Jeff Jacobs? Jeff Jacobs. I got one hand. Of course, Mitch, you got your hand up. Jeff Jacobs, I got 1.5 hands. Okay, 1.5 too. All right. So Oprah Winfrey, as you all know, or perhaps don't know, so Oprah won the Miss Black Tennessee beauty pageant. She got a scholarship at Tennessee State University, and having won the pageant, she got noticed by a radio show producer. Having got a radio show, she got noticed by a television producer to get her television show. All going through her life working for somebody else. She hosted her own show owned by ABC. So Oprah is building up this little mini empire, making good money, living a life, and she's thinking to herself, there's all these things that I don't do well, and I don't like to do, getting back to passion, knowing yourself. I need somebody on my team who loves all this stuff, accounting, operations, finance, back office. I don't like it, don't love it, don't do it well, don't want to do it. So she finds a guy named who? This is a test. She finds a guy named who? It's Alfred Edmond. She finds a guy named who? Jeff Jacobs. Jacobs becomes the who to Oprah's who. Shortly after joining Oprah's team, Jeff says to Oprah, I got an idea, Oprah. What's the idea? I think we can own the show. Here's a direct quote from Oprah. You're crazy. Where's Otis? Phil Donahue didn't own his show, right? Sally Jesse didn't own her show. Ricky Lake didn't own her show. Montel didn't own his. Nobody owned their show. They hosted their show. So Jacob says, Oprah, I can do the deal. She says to him, guess what, Jeff? Do that deal, I will give you 15% of my company. Some people say, what? So what happens? Jacobs does the deal. Oprah goes from the host of the Oprah Winfrey Show to the owner of the Oprah Winfrey Show. She becomes a philanthropist, owns a school in Africa, becomes wildly successful, has a magazine, becomes the only black woman billionaire on the planet, and is the only person I know who puts herself on the cover of her own magazine every month and still sells out. That's a bad woman. Come on. You know what I'm talking about? Wait, Alfred, if I put myself on the cover of my own magazine every month, I'd sell one copy to my mama. And she said, I only bought it so you wouldn't feel bad. But wait, but get this. Now Jacobs becomes what I hope to be one day, wealthy and anonymous. No one knows who this dude is. I'm like, who is Jeff Jacobs? I'll tell you who Jeff Jacobs is. Jeff Jacobs is paid. That's who he is. He's paid. Somebody said, I hear that. What's the lesson? What's the lesson? To the aspiring entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, to those of you banding together to support Newark, the metaphor I'm giving to you is this. First, there is strength in numbers. 2 are always better than 1. And second, do not conform the team to the strategy. Conform the strategy to the team. That what's more important than what we do here in Newark is who's on the bus. I had the blessing of not just being the only owner of BCT Partners. I have 3 business partners, Lawrence Hibbert, Jeffrey Robinson, Dallas Grundy. We've been together. We met at Rutgers, came together, stayed together, and this year we celebrate, I can't even count this anymore, about 21 years that we've been in business together. And that's my partner right there. So if you've been in business long enough, you know what I know, but you were perhaps afraid to tell that being in business with someone is second only to being married. They say that marriage is grand and divorce is 50 grand. Or maybe more, depending how you roll. But the point being, it's easy to come together, it's hard to stay together. What we need for stronger businesses in Newark is not just more coming together. We need more staying together. for a stronger Newark. That's what it means to look within. Looking around. Looking around means looking around this room, looking beyond this room, to foster better relationships and better connections with everyone across this entire small business ecosystem. I'm talking about better connections to the city, better connections to Newark CEDC, better connections with the likes of Eiffel or GNEC or SBDC or CUTE or NJIT EDC where we're headquartered, or Essex SBDAA. The list goes on and on. I'm talking about we have got to connect the dots. And it begins in this room, it begins today, it begins right now. We've got to connect these dots. And one of the components of the mayor's agenda, which we heard earlier today, was the idea of circulating more dollars within the city. And I don't know about you, but when I heard that, I loved it. I loved it because we all have a role to play in making that happen. That means Newark CEDC and their new Office of Small Business and Entrepreneurship, it means that they are looking to be the clearinghouse for you as a business owner to get access to services that can help you grow your business. You must be connected. That means that all of the organizations here to provide assistance, they must be connected to you and also help to foster strategic partnerships, mergers, joint ventures, acquisitions amongst Newark businesses to other Newark businesses. It means Newark government, Newark corporations, Newark hospitals, Newark universities must do a better job of how they earmark their procurement, earmark their dollars, and invest their money locally that Newark companies can benefit from money in Newark. That's what it means. And it means all of us connecting with all of us to make this ecosystem stronger. This can be done, and it must be done. I'll give you an example, because I'm good for examples. I mentioned earlier I'm on the board of NJPPRI. We've been looking at this issue for years now, and one of the programs we came across was a program called the Minority Business Accelerator. Mitch knows what I'm talking about. Started in Cleveland, Ohio, and has franchised out to other cities. The basic premise is getting business owners and anchor institutions connected to get more deal flow between the two communities. The results of a program like that in Chicago, 2,000 local jobs created, an additional 2,000 jobs from ripple economic activity, 4,000 jobs, $228 of corporate spending redirected locally, estimated at a $425 million economic output. That is the truth. But if they can do it in Chicago, if they can do it in Cleveland, if they can do it in Greenville, if they can do it in North Carolina and Illinois, then surely we can do it here in Newark, New Jersey, in Brick City, here in Brick City. What it means to look around is each of us seeing our responsibility to tease out just a little bit of time beyond the day-to-day realities of your companies to think more broadly about how you stitch together, weave together, and connect together this ecosystem to make this city stronger. That is the call to action I'm bringing to you as a fellow Newark business owner. Looking within, level 5 leadership. Looking around, connecting the dots. Looking back is very simple. Looking back means that at some point, all of us in our entrepreneurial career or our careers in general, we must all at some point take the time to lend a helping hand to a younger entrepreneur, an aspiring entrepreneur, a new entrepreneur, to make their road easier than it was for us. Some call it giving back, others call it paying it forward. I simply call it our responsibility. One of my favorite quotes is that we are not meant to see through each other, but to see each other through. Mildred likes that one. Okay, Ty likes it too. She said, say that one more time. I'll say it one more time. That we are not meant to see through each other, but to see each other through. And so I'm asking for all of us, each of us that are a part of the Newark business community, to not see through one another and not just see this generation of Newark small business owners through, but to see the next generation of Newark small business owners through. In conclusion, I'm excited about what this day represents. I'm excited to see each and every one of you here. I'm excited for what the mayor and Otis and others have articulated in this new day, this new era of small business in Newark. To use the vernacular that I grew up, I am dumb excited about what's happening today. I'm dumb excited. She's laughing at me. Yeah, I said it. 5 degrees. I said dumb. But please know this. If you put this into perspective, there was once a time when people used to say, there are no small businesses in Newark. I can't find them. If you see one, let me know. And in response to that, a generation of Newark business owners, or better yet, Newark aspiring business owners, figured out how to start their companies despite the naysayers who said it couldn't be done. And then they said, well, you know, there are no qualified small businesses in Newark. I can't find them. If you see one, let me know. And in response to that, the next generation of Newark small business owners stepped up to the plate and figured out how to obtain the necessary qualifications to penetrate new markets, penetrate new opportunities, and have solid ground to stand on, despite the naysayers who said it couldn't be done. And then they said, well, you know, there are no qualified small businesses in Newark with a demonstrated track record. I can't find them. If you see one, let me know. And in response to that, the last generation of Newark small business owners stepped up to the plate and figured out how to amass hugely impressive track records, how to deliver outstanding results, create lasting value despite the naysayers who said it couldn't be done. So now, today, in the city of Newark, we have successful construction firms owned by women in Newark. When construction sites once were, and perhaps still are, dominated by men. Today in Newark in 2015, we have successful Hispanic-owned firms competing in the federal marketplace. That's real, in Newark. When the landscape of federal prime contracts has historically been the province of just large majority-owned companies. Today in Newark in 2015, we have successful minority-owned firms in public relations and communications when Madison Avenue once looked nothing like this room. That's right here in the city of Newark. I'm only here to say that the only reason we're here to have a small business summit in Newark is because we are standing on the shoulders of giants. We are standing on the shoulders of giants. And we're not here because we're women-owned or minority-owned or even because we're small. We are here because we are among the best, the very best at what we do in our respective industries. Among the best. There's an old song by the OJs that says, money, don't let money change you. No, we hope money does change us. We hope it changes us for the better, changes our families for the better, changes our communities for the better, and changes this city for the better. Somebody told you that money can't buy you happiness, and you want to find out for yourself. Are you with me? You want to find out for yourself. I know I do. So as I go to my seat, please know what they're saying now. Please know what they're saying now. Now they're saying, well, you know, there are no qualified small businesses in Newark with a demonstrated track record that are working together. They're all operating in their own silos, disconnected, not connected, not united. And so I'm here to say that in response to that reality, or perhaps that perception, that it is therefore incumbent upon this generation of Newark small business owners, that is for us to step up to the plate and show the naysayers that we can come together, that we can stay together, that we can be connected together, and that we can do it despite those who say it can't be done. So my call to action this afternoon for small business development in Newark says I need you to do a better job, and I need to do a better job of looking within, of being that level 5 leader who thinks who first and then what, of looking around at assistance providers and government officials and small businesses, and the list goes on, of connecting the dots to make the ecosystem stronger, and then looking back to ask the question, how can I make it easier for somebody who comes behind me? Ralph Waldo Emerson once said that what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And they're indeed tiny matters compared to what lies within each and every one of you individually, but more importantly, what lies within each and every one of you collectively. Focus in on what's important and what's not urgent. I call this speech everything you already know about business in Newark, but we're afraid to tell. So there, I told it. So you need not be afraid to do the same. God bless you, and thank you for coming out today. Okay?